Hello, you lovelies. It is time to dive into some hot and hotline heavy calls as we get into this Koicast week. I am Koijandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and adorable barking dogs. Brought to you today by this barking dog. I want to paint you a picture. Jake is immediately to my right, in front of me to my right. To the left was a very wishbone-looking dog looking at me and barking, and then looking at Jake, deciding whether or not he's allowed to bark, and then scampering away before there was approval or denial. And that's what this episode's going to feel like. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing all right. Is that what do you say it's going to feel like that way because you're constantly seeking approval or denial?
Oh, why do you think I do a podcast, Jake? Why am I on the internet so much, if not seeking validation for my ideas and opinions?
Good point.
If I didn't love people loving me, I wouldn't be on social media every waking minute.
Right. So
even while I pee.
So he started the show automatically making it about him.
It's called Koicast, Jake. It's been about me.
Yeah, but it's a very special day.
That's true. That's true. This day should be about you. Today's Jake cast.
Hey. No,
it is Jake.
It doesn't work.
Lloyd.
It's because
it sounds like a thing that's very popular.
No, also it's the fact that my name ends with the cuss sound.
It's a double consonant.
Jacast.
Jacast. Also, that's a rough company name to slant from. Does any of it work? Lloydcast. That sounds like a spin-off from Dumb and Dumber. Baconcast sounds delicious, but doesn't quite work. Anyway, it is Jake Lloyd Bacon's 40th birthday today.
Yeah. 40 years old.
Dude, that's one of those ones. That's like I feel like after 21.
Oh no, none of your birthdays matter until
but the decimals do.
This
is a biggie.
That's the old Patton Oswalt bit where it's like you get like your teen years,
great,
and then you get like 19 and 20, nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
And then you get 21, that's a big deal, and then from that point on it's only the decibels of 10. Nobody cares.
Wow,
unless
you're at 25
30, 40, those are the only ones that matters.
I think you get it back in your 90s, though.
Sure. Oh, and yeah, he talked about that.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Then the bit ends up being like, and then if you're 100, you just get to do whatever you want.
I respect. Yeah. I do feel like once I hit 90, I'll start to teen it up again and like get those 91, 92.
Yeah, I'm saving. So as a lot of people may know, I'm a teetotaler. I don't really drink. I don't really do drugs. I hate the term straight edge, so I try to avoid it. But I guess that is a good, a decent enough description of me, for lack of better terms out there. But I think like when I'm 80, I'm just gonna start doing blow.
Oh, dude,
I'm just gonna go.
Why not? Yeah. Like if I already can't tell what reality is, I'm gonna augment. Like at this point, I'm slowing down because like my metabolism, my body is. But once it's like, well, it's closer to the end than the beginning, I'm gonna make some choices.
Yeah.
Like deathbed acid trip is very not common, but like I know a lot of people that have chosen that, and it doesn't seem like a bad move. That said, 40. What do you think you would tell 30-year-old you about 40?
Oh, you do not want to pull this thread. We're trying to have some hotline.
No, I think I could go way harder. I think that the 10-year thing is really interesting because we just discussed decimals.
I would tell 30-year-old me to go harder, to get rid of all your Twitter stock. No. Yeah, I would say to go harder, to don't rest on laurels because they're meaningless. Don't waste the second half of your 30s is what I would say.
I mean, you got a fucking
also,
certain
I would
handicap
say,
happen to you.
What do you say?
The world stopped.
Yeah, but I didn't rise to an occasion. I feel like, I would. Yeah, I mean, what do I know now that I didn't know then? I would probably tell myself to relax about a lot of things that didn't matter and focus on things that now I know matter more. That's like the big takeaway.
That was my big 30 to 35. I mean, I'm turning 35 this year, and I really, when I look at 30, which is 4.5 years ago,
sure,
it is shocking how much I thought mattered from 28 into 30, and then the last few years have just been tearing that down. Like it's really interesting how your 30s are about like, wait a second.
Yeah, I also feel like I might tell my 30-year-old self to leave LA and come back.
Oh, interesting.
I might have been, because I feel like I wasted my 30s because none of the things that I did I really needed to be in LA for, and I didn't enjoy being in LA for that time.
Interesting, yeah.
Like I would have much rather been like, why don't you and like Tony and a couple of other creative people like go rent someplace in the fucking woods for $5 a month. You know what I mean? Like go live in like go live in like Fresno where it's shitty and awful.
Make some art.
But it's like really cheap and you don't have to worry about any money whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's probably what I would tell myself, to like use assets more.
I like that.
Stuff like that.
I mean, in from the outside, like from 38 to now, you seem way more like fucking gung ho than you had then when I knew you. So,
well,
like,
I was in a very deep depression.
well, here we are. No, but like it's
Sure.
good to see you
Sure.
at 40. I don't know people that go the other way in a hurry.
Right.
I don't know a lot of people that get a second wind.
Well, yeah. Well, and I think it's because I'm at a point where I'm looking back at my 30s.
Right.
Whereas when I was 35, I was in my 30s. I have plenty of time.
But a lot of people don't look
Right,
back.
yeah.
Or they do and they see it as the
Oh, no.
period. Like they
Yeah.
don't ellipses. They go like,
I look
well,
back and I go, wow, I put everything on pause for some
Right.
bizarre reason.
But a lot of people
Yeah.
don't press play again. You're pressing play in a way that I think is really inspiring. That's why I asked, because like you at 40 seems much more in an emotion than a lot of people once they've gone like, oh, I had to slow down.
I
And that's
appreciate
why the
that.
pandemic is like really hard, because like it hit us at very different spots in our life. It was my
Right.
early 30s. I
Right.
literally turned 30 and then the world stopped. And then you were ending your 30s.
Wow, you were so you had just turned 30 right before we started the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but like, think about how different that is.
Right.
I
No,
missed
yeah.
out on the time of a lot of people's early adulthood, because when you're 20, you're not an adult. But,
Well,
like,
yeah, it's like you were learning how to say 30.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
And so it's been really hard to be in my mid 30s going like, oh, I missed out on that part where people told us that like this was adulthood in a real way.
Right.
Also, with my parents being so young, like I'm a grandfather to me, which I know is unique to me, but that's my
Right.
only perspective.
Right.
So 40 to me is interesting because like most of my friends are about 40.
Right.
So when I see them slowing down and you speeding up, it's cool for me to be like, oh, I guess that's a choice.
Right. Yeah. And for me, the pandemic, it definitely like came at like the worst possible time where I was already slowing down because of depression.
Right.
And then I just went like, well, I guess everything doesn't matter. So
It all stopped.
but it was also like during what should have been like my best years. You know what I mean? Like I always tell Cassandra, like I peaked in 2017. 2017, I was 34 years old. And that was when I looked the best. I had the most going for me at 34. And it was just like, I have the rest of my 30s are a bright shining star.
Yeah.
And then I blinked and it was 2019
Right.
and nothing had changed in those 2 years.
Sure.
And there's a big difference between 34 and 36.
Mm.
Because even though there's only 2 years apart, you're in your mid 30s and then you're in your late 30s.
Sure.
And then that's when the pandemic hit. And then it was just like, yeah, it's just been a kind of it's been like a cloud.
Yeah. And
since.
40 is like a hard thing for anybody because it is like such a marker of
It's
age.
the
and
hill.
time.
I'm over the hill now.
Is that the hill?
Yeah. Well, at least it was when I was younger. I feel
Well,
like
yeah, look
some
how
people have
old
said
people were.
Some people have said now, like, oh no, they say that 50 is the new hill. And I'm like,
Dude, I would say
people
that.
people are not living to be 100. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong.
but look at how old people looked in their 30s when we were in our teens.
Yeah.
Like there was some city miles in those 30-year-olds.
So speaking of birthdays, and I yap all my time about my heroes, Billy Crystal, whose birthday was yesterday, turned 75 yesterday.
What a cool anchor for you two.
recently-
like that 35-year
Yeah,
marker.
I recently reread his book, Still Fooling 'Em, which is a really great book. And in it, he talks about being 40 or something. He talks about this whole chapter on him being 40, and it's really bizarre to read and be that age.
Yeah.
It's just very fucking weird. It's weird to me now that I'm older than the character in City Slickers, and I have been for like, that's so bizarre to me. But anyways, he talks about like how they just assume, oh, at 80 you die.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing like, oh yeah, his generation,
Oh, dude.
80 is dead.
Yeah.
Like people live till they're 80 and then they die, which is why 40 has always been the hill.
Been your marker.
Has been the hill. And also, like, I remember when I was younger, my mother turned 40.
Yeah.
I remember like the birthday party that had like all the over the hill balloons. Like 40 was that year.
I personally also think of it as 50 now. And I don't know if that's because of like things changing or if there was a shift, but I've always thought, and maybe I'm just wrong, but I always thought of 50 as the hill because of the century. Like I always see like, okay,
Right.
you're on the other side. I don't hear people say the other side of 40. I see the other side of 30 and the other side of 50. 40 is just like, I'm still grown. I'm not dead. Whereas
So-
50 is like, I'm an older person.
Right. Apparently, this is like a fairly culturally contested thing.
Oh,
where
interesting.
a lot of people say that it's 40, and then a lot of other people, when you ask, like, if this was a Family Feud question, it would be like 50% says
Contested. Yeah.
says 40, 50% says 50. Apparently, it's very popular that like, and it might just be depending on like where you're from, or
Yeah.
what your
Also, I
community
want to live to 111, so I frankly feel like I'm a third of the way there because I want my tombstone to say 2099 on it. Because I'm a nerd.
I was wondering, like, why is such an arbitrary number?
2099, so I have a little like Miguel O'Hara moment. I want that 299. Also, in my parallel, like I love that your Billy Crystal thing is like a 5-year thing because that's so specific. Like your hero and like that, you look to that movie so specifically. I love that it's 35 years because that's such a clean number.
I know. Like they're both. It's at this point on. We have this. We share milestones.
Yeah.
At his age, every 5 is also
huge.
Yeah.
Like you got markers. Mine is me and Tom Hardy have the same birthday, and he's 11 years older than me. So every time I hit a certain mark, he's exactly 10 plus 1 more. So I remember like I was thinking of 34. He was really starting his career to like the scale around now. So it always helps me feel a little better because when you're in your mid 30s, your metabolism shifts, and I'm trying to get like back in crazy shape, like not like normal shape, like crazy shape. And I was like, man, it might be too late. And then I realized like, oh no, wait, he then started, the Bronson, Warrior, that era. And Brad Pitt was 34 when he got like the craziest shape ever in Fight Club. So I'm like, okay, it's the last bastion of hope. This is where I can't do this anymore in 10 years. So it's really funny how we see age and have those markers as looking at other people like, okay, it's possible.
Yeah. I in reading that book, even he talks about having to get in shape for movies.
How different.
And like, he's always been in good shape. People don't like, anytime you think of like a small Jewish comedian, you don't assume they're fit, but he's always been in like really good shape.
Sure.
He's just because he's not jacked big, but he's always been really, really
physical
healthy.
Comedy's physical.
Yeah. And he talked about having to get into shape for a few movies. And I think about that as just like, he's talking about like, man, it was a real struggle. I was 42 or whatever, however old he was. And I was like, wait, that's how old I am.
Oh no. Yeah, dude, the battle for abs is different. But that being said, it is the 40th to this gentleman. Send him some love.
So you said that you want to live till 2099?
Yes, sir. Because I was born in 88, so 111.
In order for me to live to 2099, I will have to make it to 115 years, 9 months, and 18 days.
I believe in you.
To get to January 1st.
I like that for you.
I have to live nearly 116 years.
You got this.
God,
technology is crazy.
How awful.
No.
Those years at the end? Oh,
yeah, but like
God.
technology by like then you're going to be like plugged in. You'll be like in a cloud, dude. You'll have uploaded your consciousness.
This is my favorite really hacky old bit that I used to do as a stand-up about how like you think of old people now and they're like, oh, our records. And, and I say now, like 20 years ago when I was doing this material, but we used to watch, Bob Hope on the TV. But like eventually old people are going to be like really good at video games.
Oh, I like that.
And it's going to be like, oh, God, Grandpa keeps kicking my ass in Halo 16. And it's like, listen, he's like, and meanwhile, Grandpa's like, yeah, I'm fucking teabagging you, noob. And he's just going to be like it's going to be us, but we're going to be old.
I like this.
He's going to be like, oh, fuck, I was listening to Pantera and noobing my grandkid on Halo 17.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the tramp stamp sags. Like when there's a whole generation that are just older. But like between our generations, there's going to be an era.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be
beautiful, weird era.
It's really mostly like 30 years from now.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming.
30 years from now, we are going to, I'm tatted up. Like there's plenty of people like, yeah, we're going to have like a lot of old saggy tattoos.
Well, it'll be like sailor's tats now, but like weird shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot of butterflies are going to be sailor tats.
Oh yeah. So many
Adam Levine's going to look real weird.
So many Tweety birds.
Adam Levine looks like a Chipotle bag now. Soon he's going to look like does he not?
Right.
Well, we usually do hotline calls, but 15 minutes in, we were like, let's talk about 40. But we got some hotline calls coming in. Very excited about diving into these. And it is the Ides of March, which means not only is that important for, I think, elections? I know it's from Caesar. Why is the Ryan Gosling, George Clooney movie the Ides of March? Is that an election thing?
You are embarrassing yourself right now.
Oh, is that, should I know this?
Beware the Ides of March.
Is it Caesar?
Yes. It was when Brutus killed Caesar.
I didn't know if that was a modern election related thing. I know the concept of being stabbed in the back politically. I didn't know if that was something that actually like affected the world today besides the conceptual Caesar.
If there is an additional like socio-political connection to it, I am unsure.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
If you're talking about just that one movie with them on the cover of Time magazine that I don't remember because I don't think I saw the whole thing, then no, I don't recall it.
Okay, well, beware the Ides of March, everyone. Don't get stabbed in the back. But also,
Alexandra is texting, so it only means that she has something to say.
She's going to tell me how dumb I am. There's like an actual important.
What does that have to do with anything? Oh, she says, in order to live to 115, I better lay off the coffee mate. The first part was that she just said, better lay off that coffee mate.
Oh,
and there was
so
nothing.
Funny.
And I was like,
March, what?
And at first I thought like she thought I was like breaking wind in here or something. Like it was like fart related.
That's 40 years old.
But then she just wrote in parenthetical, to live till 115.
I don't know if it's worth living to 111 without coffee. Like,
yeah.
Is that a thing?
Hard agree.
I'll carve my own tombstone. I'll have it in my will that someone has to make up a date.
Here's the thing. By the way, if you want, like just because of irony, I'll probably live longer than you.
Oh.
Like you're way healthier. You're like you're doing everything
went to the
you
gym
can.
Before I got here.
Yeah, I know. And I'm, and I didn't. So
it's usually how it works.
Because of irony, you will inherently die first.
And you're going to make it to 2099.
I promise you, I will carve 2099, no matter what year it is.
Amazing. That's all I
just
ask.
carve 2099, and I'll do it in the Marvel style, that font.
Because I now, like, if I die before that, that's my ghost is unfinished business, and then you'll do it, and then I can rest.
Right.
Like, I can rest in 2099.
Right.
Guys, It's a weird movie we're writing. All right, let's get into some hotline calls.
Hey, Coy, producer Jake, Trav from Florida. Thing that's going on with me, I think Coy finds funny too, because of his recent issues. I've got like half a ear thing right now. Like I've basically got the ears plugged up, whatever's going on there. So I'm like, if this happened to like Daredevil, that would suck. Like, imagine like it's raining, he's deaf in one ear. It's just raining, he can only see half the city. Which got me to thinking, what are some common human issues that would suck that are an unconventional weakness? Discuss. This should be fun. Bye.
All right, so I like the concept of like a half-blind Daredevil on top of like, his standard blindness. What other ones would be like rainy day Superman?
I mean, here's the thing is like, let's just stick with rain because he mentioned it and it's pouring in LA for the past month.
Yeah, this is thematically appropriate.
Like Sandman is fucked in the rain. Like Sandman, literally, his weakness is precipitation.
I like the idea that Hydra Man has an existential crisis because he's too abundant. Like he's spread thin,
right?
So he like can't focus,
right?
Like a really depressed Hydra Man when it rains because he's
right. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Electro, just cautious.
Yeah, I was gonna say anybody that's like Electro because it has a lot of tech shit involved in them. Shocker,
Shocker
can't
because
fuck
he's not as good as Iron Man at insulating his shit. Like he has vibration issues constantly.
Yeah,
there's actually a subplot where his shoulders dislocate because he's always vibrating, doesn't like built in. So rain messes him up.
Love that.
I like this rain through line.
But yeah, like there's like some weather things that are just like what about like blizzards? Like,
I feel like Spot wouldn't do well because he can't like put himself back in space. Like if it's windy and he's all like discombobulated. Also, you couldn't see the guy. It's very disconcerting and confusing.
That's true. I think that the Iceman and Human Torch or Pyro thing, like one would assume that they're really good in the opposite situation.
Yep.
But like global warming is you're like what if global warming ensures that like no matter what Bobby does, it's like fuck, it just melts immediately.
Oh, that's so like he can get to a certain temperature, but then over the course of time, like every 0.2 degrees he notices.
Right.
Or the other way, like Human Torch is like he causes like a methane gas, so he feels guilty.
100%.
Like he always emits like an ozone problem.
Right.
I like that.
I love that.
What other natural disasters?
I mean, what would be the worst possible thing for Boltagon except strep throat?
Oh, if he coughs, he just destroys everyone.
Yeah, just like just awful strep throat, and it's just like really like he has to swallow all the time, and it's constantly irritated.
Oh, that's amazing.
He gets that little tickle in the back,
and then just deals with it. Has to endure.
Yep.
Actually, a lot of people would have that. Like Cyclops. What if his visor's off? Sneezes. New house.
Sneeze. So by the way, I don't know if we ever talked about this. Do you know what one of my greatest fears in day-to-day life is?
Sneezing while driving?
Sneezing while driving.
It's a fair fear.
And it's because when I sneeze,
full body.
I close my eyes for like 3 solid seconds. I have tried to kind of like keep them like it's whatever the neurological thing that occurs when you
really
sneeze in my body, my eyes close and they close tight and they close for like enough time to murder somebody and or kill myself.
Oh, that's awful.
And every time I feel like a sneeze coming on, I just absolutely start to panic on the road. I'm like, okay. And I try to like create space and I try to like prepare for an accident.
Oh no.
And then I sneeze and I'm like, oh, everything's fine.
I do like the idea of sneezing affecting that'd be at least Cyclops.
Right.
Cause he already has a very loose control of his power set.
Right.
Organic web fluid, Tobey Maguire, just spurting.
Or also, what about just like, we never talk about how like in the winter, shit freezes over and like Spider-Man can't stick to anything.
Oh yeah.
Has Spider-Man ever fallen off of a wall, like a brick wall, because it froze?
He's when he's gotten a cold,
Right.
like they reference in the movie, but there's comics where he gets sick and he just can't.
Right.
Like his powers wane. So I
Yes.
imagine like some
Right.
adhesion issues. Also like speedsters.
Right.
Like when it's icy.
Oh, totally.
Cyclops. I mean the Cyclops. Quicksilver.
Quicksilver,
Flash.
Cannonball would be funny. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
I also like a head cold, like something that's innocuous, but like that's on the forefront of your thinking, messing with psychics. Like, you know, when you're like,
Right.
when your head
Or-
hurts and you can't think.
Or I'm getting dark with it. Like medication for like mental.
Oh yeah, it fuzzes you up.
Like imagine like having to take a specific like Ritalin.
Oh,
Or like somebody who has like what if like Scarlet Witch had like was prescribed like ADHD medication,
and Adderall just like it's too focused, too intense. Or like Legion on like, you know, any sort of psychoaffective drug, where it's like a side effect, so he takes it and he doesn't realize, and it just wakens all of his like side missions up.
That's great. Multiple Man gets COVID and just spreads it all over.
Dark.
Accidentally just spreads it all over.
I mean, would his body have the same cells? Like, would that be something that comes with him?
Right.
Like, are those lungs the same when you replicate them?
Of course.
Oh man.
And in fairness, does he have the same STDs?
100%. That's got to be like a boys episode. If there's not an issue of the boys that I'm not thinking of where that's occurred.
Yeah, who else? What other? I'm trying to think. A lot of other powers I could think of are like, all right, well, yeah, it's like he mentioned, like people heal and like, you know, obviously stuff like common cold and stuff like that. It's always there's a gamut of ways that might affect specific heroes, but I think most of them are probably immune to that kind of thing.
Yeah. But I do like the rainy.
Weather.
Daredevil.
It's fun that just like some sort of weather thing occurs and it just ruins somebody's ability to do anything.
I just love the
it's just
idea
like
that
I can't go
Xavier-
outside. It's raining.
Yeah,
like no, I can't.
Or like your joints, like you know, when it gets the pressure thing causes you to not be able to do certain things.
Right. Oh, what about like low tide and Aquaman? Like, we're so much further away from the land than I was.
He like doesn't account for it. And he's late for shit.
He's like riding a whale and they can't get close enough.
Also, like the idea that Aquaman's always late for shit because he doesn't account for low tide. Like he just doesn't think of it.
Yeah, 100%. He's like, shit, I gotta pay attention to the moon.
I really did not focus up on this.
Right. Aren't there certain Moon Knight
writers
where depending on the phase of the moon, it's affected differently?
So a new moon, there's crime. He's like, shit. Just has to stay home.
I can't do any of this stuff right
and
now.
like Superman can charge up is like, you know, latent abilities, but like if it's been cloudy, like it has been in LA for a week, just a layman Superman chilling home.
Do you know how like there's a lot of like artists, musicians, comedians, writers who are worried that if they stop doing things that are bad for them, they'll stop being able to write or be whatever. Like imagine like somebody like Riddler, like we learned that he actually has like a cocaine addiction. And he's worried. He's like, I'm trying to get clean.
But if I do,
he's like, I don't come up with shit. Like roses are red, violets are blue, I guess. I don't know. Like he's got nothing.
He's just like always on a really hard drug. Yeah. And like, that's good. I like that.
Oh, wait a minute. What if somebody gets prescribed like medical marijuana? Who would be most affected by being high?
Interesting.
Who would get high and just and be absolutely useless?
What if like Sabretooth? Like he's like not feral anymore. And like, so therefore he doesn't have any like.
He's really docile.
He doesn't care. He's like a kitty cat. He's like a kitten instead of like a fucking puma that he is. Like he just like chills out.
Wait, did you just refer to the gentleman named Sabretooth to a puma instead of a
Sabretooth tiger? I believe I did. And I will never forgive myself. But
my favorite part about Black Panther is the way he kind of runs around like a bobcat.
It's crazy. He's got these like leopard-like styles. This is a great question. I enjoyed this. This was good
stuff.
Who do you guys think would be the most different on weed?
Hi again, Coy and Jake. This is Doug McKinney from Pittsburgh, or Darth Vadad on the Discord. I thought I'd share my Quantum Mania story with you when I went to the theater. Now, this is a food story and a bad seat partner story, I guess, for Jake's benefit. I posted this on the Discord, but this is for people who might not be there or who have not read it. I just want to say this up front. I seldom buy theater food. Once in a while, I'll get a drink or something to bring with me. I'll smuggle it in, usually water, in case I get a little thirsty. But for my 9:45 a.m. showing on Friday, the 17th of February, I'd slept poorly the night before, so I bought a small soda/caffeine delivery system. And as I was approaching the register at the Cinemark, I grabbed a box of Reese's Pieces on the off chance I got hungry. I found my seats. These are recliners, leather recliners, 15 and 16, leftmost edge of the back row, letter H. I had to ask the couple next to me to move over to 13 and 14 instead of 14 and 15. Since COVID, I buy at least one extra seat so I don't have to sit right next to anyone. Partially for my comfort, but also for theirs in case my Parkinson's tremor becomes distracting. I put my food down, took my jacket off, sat down, silenced my phone, put it in my jacket pocket, and then I kept the jacket in seat 16 with me in case my neighbors decided to put theirs in the other seat.
Okay.
They did not. Then I figured it would be a good idea to open the candy so I wouldn't make noise fumbling with it later. I accomplished this, not easily, and elected to pour a small handful into my tremor-free left hand, so the box wouldn't be quite full if I had trouble handling it later. I put said candy into my mouth and proceeded to chew. Unfortunately, this small amount of time was too long to trust my shaky right hand to do its damned job.
Oh, no.
And before I could retrieve the box with my now unencumbered left hand, or summon any time-controlling powers from the ether, my tremor suddenly made my modest box of candy sound like a fucking maraca.
Oh, no.
I do mean it sounded like a maraca. Embarrassed, I stopped this racket, but not before an orange Reese's Piece hopped out and landed on the floor in front of me. Avoiding further disaster, I put the box in a cup holder and did not touch it again. So, after the post-credit scene, I stood up and found that I had been sitting on a black Reese's Piece during the whole movie.
No.
It was partially melted to the seat. I removed it with a napkin and headed for the restroom, where I found no immediate evidence of a candy stain on my pants.
All right.
Which is for sure what I was expecting.
That's good.
So I guess my superpower is that I have a candy melting ass force field. Thanks, and have a great day.
Oh, what a great story. Thanks for sharing. He's like a duck. The chocolate just rolls off his back.
It's an impressive skill because I've had much less, I thought, connection to the chocolate and had much worse side effects. So, all's well that ends well. And
what a great, it could have gone very poorly.
I also like his use of language for the visuals because this is a podcast and I was able to experience that entire journey with him.
Have you ever had an issue with a mess in a theater that impeded on your ability? At least I will say this, at least you discovered it, at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because had you discovered it in the beginning or in the middll, it would have bothered you
journey.
The entire time.
I've had two, and I mean, I'm sure I've had more, but two that were like markedly awful. I like to get curly fries on cheat day, and curly fries are a great movie theater treat because I don't make them often at home, and I always like to get things I don't make at home. And they're like very tactile. Like I like food like popcorn. It's very like it's a journey, and the curlier the fry, the more of a journey it is. But I waited till the movie started to open the ketchup once, and it was one of those pocket, like one of the like a cup holder style.
Right. It wasn't a packet. It was like a dipping container.
And so when you open that incorrectly and it spills, it is the entirety of a dipping container, and it lives on you for the 2-hour duration of the film, smelling sweeter and sweeter. And I ended up just dipping the fries onto my pants. I will totally own that because at that point the damage was done. I also am a weirdo and I like to bring artichokes into movies. I like to steam an artichoke.
Okay, that is fucking weird.
And smuggle in like balsamic vinegar and artichokes because I'm trying to be healthy and they're high in antioxidants, low in calories. And it's like the healthiest version of the thing you do with popcorn, which is like so like you basically like pick it like a rose, like you separate. So
right.
It's an active food.
Right. It's like peeling something off slowly, but yeah.
I'm the most ADD, so I need something to do sometimes. So in a movie that I'm not sure about, I will bring in an artichoke, and I have once spilled vinegar on myself, and that is something the entire theater can smell. So that was a long
everybody
journey
just
of-
thought you'd like
had
shat
some
your
kind of
pants or
accident.
something.
Like, cause it was it was like balsamic vinegar. I smelled like vinegar for a while. Those are my 2 words. What about you?
I took a date to go see the first Avatar movie,
Okay.
and we were in like
That's how long ago it came out.
we were in the last theater, like I'm sorry, the last row of the theater, and I was already bothered by the 3D. I think it has to do with the fact that I wear glasses. I don't have contacts.
Sure.
I've always struggled with 3D things over my glasses.
Yeah.
So I was already like kind of uncomfortable. But I didn't want to make a hullabaloo because I was on a date and it was a
Respect.
lovely time. And about 10 minutes into the movie, which is why I mentioned this earlier about finding it at the end, I leaned forward and I've heard, and there was gum on the back of not like on the backrest. So like right by my shoulder blade on my right side. And I like reached back and I could just feel all in my shirt. And it was on the side that she was on. It was on my right side. And I couldn't sit back and enjoy the movie. But I also didn't want to leave and be like,
Right.
bye, I'm going to go take care of this. Because I knew that goodbye was going to be me just going home and throwing the shirt away. And so I had to spend the entire movie like this, leaning forward and away from her.
Oh, it's the other. Oh,
Because again, it was on the same side as her.
Yep.
So if it
So
was
you
on
looked
that
like that
side, I
guy.
could have been like this and been like, I am cozying up to you. But nope, I had to like lean forward
Was there
and
another
away
date,
from
or was
her.
that the last one?
That was the last one.
Oh,
That was the only one.
damn.
And I don't know that this was the reason for it, but I definitely was like, I couldn't enjoy it.
There's
even
just a
after
tension there.
even after the movie. It was a long fucking movie.
Yeah.
Even after the movie, I was like, I have gum all over. I'm so sorry. I know this is bizarre, but there's a seat, and she was so kind. She was like, "Oh my god, that's so disgusting. I can't believe somebody would do that." And blah blah blah.
But still, like the whole movie had been leaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that if reincarnation is real, it has a certain time travel element, and you're the person that invents the thing that ends the movie theater because you're cursed with movie
No,
theater luck.
but I want them.
You always have these movie theater experiences. Karmically, something happens in the future.
I mean, I need to. All right. I will pay more for a ticket for a smaller private theater.
It's coming. I want
Yeah.
ArcLight back, man. That's what I want. I miss
Yeah,
ArcLight.
or just that, or just
Yeah.
like people who care
Right.
about policing the theater.
Yeah.
Like the way, like, you know, I was a stand up for a decade, and I've been in clubs where they do not give 2 fucks and they are useless, and I have been in clubs where the staff is on top
Yeah.
of people, and if you're just on top of people and you don't let them get away with shit,
And if you let it be known, that's how it's going to be.
yeah. Oh, if 100%, like those little videos in the beginning are great for the like,
Actually
make
do
sure you
something.
turn off your thing. I've said this for years. Again, equating it to stand up in the improv chain. There's a video that plays before the show
Mhm.
on like, because every time you go to an improv, they have like a slideshow of who's coming in the weeks to come. And then this little video plays before the screen pulls up and they start whatever their evening stand-up show is. And the video that plays is of comedian Todd Glass, one of the absolute fucking greatest, talking to the crowd, talking to, direct to camera to the crowd. Like, listen, thank you guys for coming out for the improv. It's the best club. But here's the thing is you're at a comedy club. You're not in your living room.
As
You're
it should
here
be.
to see a show. And he goes, laugh, shut up, laugh, shut up, laugh, shut up, laugh, shut up.
I love this.
And then the thing goes up, and that's how the shows start at the improvs. And I want, that star of the movie
Yeah, just like part
to
of the PR
record
team. Yeah.
something. If in the beginning of fucking Cocaine Bear,
Yeah.
they had whoever the hell's in the lead in that movie, and then like
The
a
bear.
CG Cocaine Bear,
Yeah.
being like, we worked really hard on this movie. We want people to enjoy it. So shut up. It's
Yeah,
not about
if
you.
Paul Rudd, you do not tell Paul Rudd no. If Paul Rudd
Right.
came out in the beginning of Ant-Man,
And said, hey, stop talking. You're annoying. Here's the thing. Your friend who you're chiming into to say a funny joke, he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
He's making fun of you when you leave. Nobody likes you. Stop talking.
and then do it on brand for
Don't-
let the actor be like who they are.
100%.
Like let Tommy Lee Jones scare the piss out of you.
100%.
Let Harrison Ford strike the fear of get off my plane into your
Yes.
heart.
Absolutely.
Make it part of the PR. I make it happen.
That's the change I'm going to make.
There it is. Okay, now he fixed theaters. Now he's gonna have good karma. All right, we got another one.
Hey, Coy. Hey, Jake. Jacob from Mississippi. Not dead. Just been very busy. But I still listen weekly on the car rides to work. And got a very important question. Very important. Okay? Fate of the world. DC versus Marvel. Dodgeball. Okay? I don't necessarily know how the dodgeball works, but maybe 5v5, 6v6. Your team, DC versus Marvel, who wins? For you guys, X-Men included, fate of the world. Thank you.
Jacob.
So, that is
All
a
right.
big one.
All right, so this is very fitting because Dodgeball is one of my favorite movies, my favorite comedies. It's probably in the very short list of movies I've seen more than any other movie.
Damn.
Because I used to watch it at work when I worked at the bike shop. There was like 3 movies we just had on repeat. That was one of them.
Okay.
That, Airheads, and Pootie Tang.
Oh, boy.
Were just on constant repeat. Also, I would watch it with my cousin regularly, and I would watch it during drives to and from Florida, to and from Pensacola to Tampa.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
So this is one of my favorite movies that is being referenced.
Perfect.
And I think that we're gonna over deliver here.
Oh, hardcore.
He asked for DC versus Marvel,
And he said 5 or 6.
5 or 6. That's not enough. There's too many.
Nope.
This is fucking dodgeball, bro.
You take this seriously.
So first off, you are correct in saying 6. Dodgeball generally 6 to 10.
Regulation
team.
6 to 10. Looked it up.
All right. Also, if you're not familiar with the rules of dodgeball, is that if you just get hit, then you're out. You can deflect a ball using another dodgeball. If you catch a ball, the person who threw it is out. Okay. So what we have done is we're gonna have a
Dip, duck, dive. What's the 4th D before they repeat? Dodge. Remember the rules?
Yeah. Dip, duck, dive. No, I think they repeat the first one.
Yeah, but isn't there 5?
Dodge.
Is it 4 or 5? I thought he counted. You know what I mean?
I know. Now you broke my brain. Dip, duck, dodge, right. No, it's 5 things.
Okay.
But dodge, I think it's dodge twice.
Right.
I think it's dip, duck, dodge, dive, dodge, or something like that.
Okay.
Like he goes back to.
And he has to say dodge again because he
dip,
doesn't have a 5th.
Duck, dive, and dodge are the 4.
Oh, but so
I don't
maybe
remember.
dodge. Yeah.
I just don't remember
Sorry,
which one
guys.
is
I just
in
threw
there.
that off immediately, but I had to know.
Oh god, I love that movie.
Rip Torn. Doing the work.
Okay, so what we've done is we're having a full-on fucking tournament.
It's huge.
We have a tournament. We have created brackets.
Huge.
It is 4 teams on side Marvel, 4 teams on side DC, who will all face one another to see who faces each other in the finals, Marvel versus DC of Dodgeball. And we are going to task you, the listeners, with deciding, of course, by either calling the hotline at 818-794-0722. And when we get to it, it might not be soon because of our schedule, but also tweet at us when this episode comes out, who you think wins, at Coy Jandro, at Jake Lloyd Bacon, or just use the hashtag CoyCast. But let's get into it. So on
the man asked for 5 to 6. We gave him 24 v 24.
So on the first round of side Marvel, we have Team Muties.
It's a slur. Sorry about that.
Versus Team Skills with a Z.
That's the 90s. Sorry about that.
Who's on Team Muties, you ask? Cyclops.
Boom.
Beast. Nightcrawler.
Bamf.
Jubilee.
Sparkle.
Toad.
Ribbit.
And Storm. And they are going up against Team Skills with a Z. Speedball. Bullseye. Spider-Man. Quicksilver. Hawkeye. And Daredevil. I mean, this is some hot first round action.
It's a very intense opener here at the Dodgeball DC versus Marvel Amalgam Games.
I mean, let's think about some pros and cons here, all right? Over on the Muties side,
they got leadership and skill and tactics with Scott.
Yes.
The man's got great aim and has to think about the geometry of a room all the time.
Also, Beast is a physics genius.
I mean, and so acrobatic. Also,
Insanely
all 4 limbs probably good at throwing a ball.
He can catch. That was my thought. He could probably catch a ball and throw a ball with his feet as well.
Upside down, use his hands. It doesn't matter.
You got Nightcrawler, who may be impossible to catch.
Can't touch this.
There's another team later on that we almost put him on, but we decided to keep him with the Muties here.
Yep.
Just because of friendship. Jubilee, more distracting than anything.
But would also love the game the most.
Exactly.
It's
I feel
more
like
about the team spirit.
Yeah, we felt like she would be the one who would be most upset that she wasn't playing dodgeball.
And also the morale boost of her glee. You look over at Jubilee having a good time, you want to play.
Toad, again, acrobatic, also could catch things with his tongue.
Offense and defense, that tongue.
Throws things with his tongue. He could also save his teammates by snapping his tongue out and catching a ball out of the air.
Deflecting. Also slimy, gross, don't want to touch it.
Luckily there's no person-on-person contact.
Sure. I'm saying with the ball.
Right.
You don't want to touch it after.
So Storm is there going to be the best at the whistle at the beginning. So if you're not familiar with how it works, all the balls are in the center line, and both teams have to run and grab one, to retrieve their balls, and it's a really dangerous zone there because you can get picked off. That whistle blows. Storm's just going to lightly gust all the balls to her side. Yeah. So she's right. So there, and then on the other side of the court,
I mean, this is. I think this team's a force to be reckoned with here.
Speedball.
I mean, his name's right there.
And Quicksilver.
I mean, you got two of the best offensive and defensive players in Marvel.
How are you going to ever touch these dudes?
Spider-Man.
Bullseye. Spider-Man, one of the most acrobatic. Spider sense. He will know when the ball is coming.
And think about his clinging ability. He could grab a ball, grab another ball, pop. Like he can. All four of his limbs can stick and also deliver.
Yeah.
Plus the spider sense.
You really got to aim for the torso.
And that's hopeful.
Or the head.
That also hopefully Spider-Man. Like you can't fight Spider-Man. How do you dodgeball him?
Right. Bullseye's not going to miss.
Never.
Hawkeye might miss a little bit more than Bullseye because he's not used to throwing things as much as he is to shooting things.
But his aim,
but he still understands the physics of projectiles.
Learning curve small.
Right. Daredevil
doesn't miss.
Here's the thing that might be a problem with Daredevil is sensing his own teammates' balls and deflect. Like he'll be able to sense where they are. I'm assuming they're all wearing like sneakers, so it's a lot of squeaking on the floors.
But if you think about
triangulation,
think about like Ben Affleck. He was able to see the different smells and things. So I think he could detect and
right.
But also you can't touch him. There's no way he's going to touch Daredevil.
So do you want to decide on who wins here, or do you want to tell people what the next matchup is?
I think we decide because otherwise we're just giving them 24 characters.
Alrighty.
In this battle, personally, I actually don't see this going the X-Men's way.
No, not
a
at all.
lot of times we are very pro X-Men, and I think we gave the best X-Men for the job. I still give it to skills.
I think that the X-Men are very good at working as a team to complete specific tasks,
right?
Many of which require great feats of strength.
Very good at baseball.
Psychological power.
Yep.
Dodgeball is not one of those things.
I also think their skills at baseball might throw them off here. I think they've got certain instincts they won't be able to play. If you see them in the comics, they're always playing baseball.
They are, yeah.
Very different sport, dodgeball. And skills is a dodgeball team.
There you have it. Advancing to the semifinals, team skills.
There it is.
Do you want to hop over to DC
Let's
side?
do DC top bracket.
All right. Top bracket in DC, we have Team Justice versus Team Baddies.
Bum, bum, bum.
On Team Justice, we have Flash. What does that say? Lobo. No, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
2 W's.
Oh.
But I wrote it really squiggly like.
I was like, how do you mix
Wonder
Lobo
Woman,
and Wonder Woman up?
Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
Green Lantern.
Yep.
Martian Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
And Shazam.
Childlike Wonder.
So this team is all over the place.
Very broad. A lot of stuff. Powerhouses, though.
I think Wonder Woman is going to have the hardest time here because she's so used to deflecting.
True.
She's going to have to really train herself to catch and not just put her little cuffs up and knock balls around.
Good point. But very acrobatic.
Incredibly
very
acrobatic. And probably the team leader, if we're going to be honest.
And probably the most competitive, if we're going to be honest.
Yes, that's true. Cyborg is probably going to have a slight speed issue, potentially, depending on how he's set up.
His instincts might blow up some balls. I'm a little worried about him shooting some lasers.
Right. But Flash is going to be something to wrap
with.
Absolute powerhouse.
Green Lantern
is going to have to take his ring off. All right.
He's just a guy?
Because what are you going to do?
Hal?
Or I guess this also is like, are the refs calling this game down the middle? Is summoning a big giant, I was
thinking like ping pong.
Net.
Bing, 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 like, is that?
Right.
Or like a bubble?
Right. But again, if it touches him and then it falls, he's out.
You remember those things where you catch and throw, like the Scoopy things where you're just like,
yeah, they were like faux lacrosse plastic.
You can make you can make 2 of those.
Yeah, but does it qualify as touching him if it's something he's holding?
Yeah, probably.
And in which case does that
he's out.
How long does he have to have it in his?
Got to scoop. Got to scoop racket back, just like with.
But he has to have it in a racket long enough to consider it being in possession before he then.
Well, we haven't revealed their opponents.
All right. So on the other side is DC Baddies. We've got Poison Ivy, the Riddler,
Lobo.
There he is. Harley Quinn, Deathstroke, and just because it's too funny to not do, Darkseid.
Okay, so
Also known as Darkseid.
Darkseid.
It was in the Poison. It was in the Harley Quinn show. I'm not the only one. Go fuck yourself.
I personally, I see Deathstroke being a huge asset here.
Deathstroke, I think, is probably. Well, I think Ivy is team leader.
Yeah,
much to the chagrin of Darkseid.
Agreed.
I think Deathstroke is the most effective.
Yep. I think Deathstroke is like your running point. I think Poison Ivy's got pheromones she can use to bewilder her opponents.
I think Harley's also surprisingly good.
Oh, I think she roller skates and she dodgeballs.
She's
those two things.
Yeah,
100%.
I think Riddler's gonna surprise you.
Yeah, I think he's good at tactics.
Yes, exactly.
He thinks long game.
Riddler's gonna be doing a lot of annoying things where he's gonna be like having people stand in certain spots to like give options.
I like that.
And then when they throw it to like who has the ball behind their back, whoever you just he'll like come up with a little riddle and they'll be like whoever you
that's
throw
maddening.
it, they might you might get a smack or some shit like that.
Paul Dano doing the work. I think Darkseid would be a negative in that he's so big and bulky, but nobody's going to want to take Darkseid out.
Also, he's going to be able to use his tubes.
Yeah. I think anybody's going to kill. I think Darkseid kills the first person that takes him out, and then no one else does.
Or his team gets disqualified.
Because he just killed somebody.
And Justice just gets passed on a bye.
Who do you got on this one?
I got to be honest with you. I think Justice is a no-brainer here.
Okay.
Just because of Flash. Shazam.
Because Shazam's going to play for the marbles.
Oh, also, Shazam is constantly going to be switching in between being a kid and being
small.
full size.
Defense, small, offense, big.
Yeah, he's going to be all over the place.
I'm going to give it to Justice.
I think Justice is going to take this
almost
victory.
Shazam and Flash alone.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a real tough one, but I think Justice is going to be there.
Justice has prevailed, everyone.
Back to our first round Marvel, by the way, what better way to be 40, right?
We're adults.
It is Team Fact and Fiction.
Love it.
Fact and fiction, predicated on people who have mystical abilities and just scientific fact abilities. Doc Ock.
Boom.
Magic. Rocket Raccoon. Don't call him a raccoon. Cloak. And co-team leaders Iron Man and Doctor Strange. I mean, this team is effective.
It's real big. A lot of powerhouses, defense and offense.
Doc Ock has
8 limbs. That's why he's an octopus.
Yeah, but he's not catching shit with his feet.
No,
he's got 6 chances to catch and throw.
Touche.
Iron Man is going to be utilizing
everything.
All the tech at
also
his disposal.
Real competitive that once you stop drinking.
Right, absolutely. Strange is going to be throwing portals up, and the ball is going to be constantly coming back at them without ever touching him.
Different balls, like multiverse balls. He's playing in multiple realities.
Here's the question: is that you can't get yourself out in dodgeball?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe. So a ball can be deflected. If somebody throws a ball at Strange, he creates a portal, and then it comes back at him, at the other person. That person, I don't think it'll count as a deflection because it never touched. It was never deflected by him.
Still good defense, though. Still good defense.
Can I say?
The ref's got a large, that's a big rule book. It's a large rule book.
The referees are going to have a nightmare here.
Also,
Rocket Raccoon, small target, and
inventive, tactical.
Incredibly inventive.
Like, he's already made a bunch of dodgeball guns.
He's got the amount of materials that he has designed.
Can I also just say, I think Tony Stark probably hears about this a couple months ahead and joins every dodgeball league in order to win.
He buys dodgeball leagues.
100%. He's in and out of suit great at this now.
Yeah. And that's the connection between Happy and what's his face from Dodgeball? I come up with his name right now.
Vince Vaughn.
Thank you, Vince
There
Vaughn.
It is. They were swingers and then they were dodgeball players. Cloak is just, come on, MVP.
I mean,
what are you going to do?
Cloak's
they just run out of balls.
It's going to be really irritating.
Just the worst.
But that's a good team. But on the other side of fact and fiction.
Yep, hard to beat.
On the other side of fact and fiction is what I'm going to go ahead and just say is the team to beat here.
Okay.
Everybody signed up and they thought that the teams were made like, oh great, we only have 3 teams on the side. One team will get a bye. We'll randomize that. And then door flies open and in with a banner that simply says totally not fair is team totally not fair.
There they are.
Domino, Long Shot,
damn,
Taskmaster.
Oh boy.
Kitty Pryde.
come on.
Spot,
Yep.
and team leader Black Cat.
So talked all about the strengths of the other team. I don't even think we need to talk about the strengths here. I think they win. I don't even think. I think
You've got Domino. You have Domino and Longshot ensuring that no matter what happens,
they have good luck.
the odds will be in their favor.
And then you've got Black Cat making sure the other team odds is not in their luck.
yes,
You've got bad luck powers going at the other side.
yes.
Good luck powers on your side. And then you've got Deadshot.
No,
Just- Sorry, Deathstroke.
no, wrong team. Taskmaster. is who
Thank you.
think of.
There he is.
Taskmaster. So no matter what Doc Ock does, or Rocket or Straight. Now here's the thing: is that it's not like he can mimic mystical abilities.
No, but if he mirrors anyone's style to
Right.
miss their, like he can
Or
mirror them to get out of the way.
his
like
own
he could
team.
see, or his own team, and that's everybody.
Oh man!
I
And then
mean,
Kitty Pride.
She's never.
She's
going
gonna
out.
constantly be phasing out of the way. It's gonna be so fucking irritating.
And she could
But
literally,
she won't really be very good for deflections or quick returns. Probably not going to be catching a lot and getting other people out.
But that's what you got. You know, the good
Other
luck
people. Yeah.
power of everyone
She's-
else for.
She's standing in front of somebody like Spot, who somebody throws the ball at Kitty Pride. She phases.
Yep.
He catches the ball.
Yep.
So that person is out. And then reaches through a
portal.
dimensional portal to his
Boom.
right and knocks out another member on the other team. Team totally not fair.
I think Spot wins it by himself. Then you've got all the good luck.
Team totally not fair
Clearly victors here.
is moving on to face Team Skills.
There it is.
And on the other side, back to DC, round 1,
Okay.
we have the Bat Fam.
Yep.
Listen, building activities within family is important.
Very important. Extracurricular is very important.
This whole thing was Nightwing's idea.
Obviously. Where do you think he got those glutes from?
He told Batgirl, and she made everybody jerseys.
In a
She was
heartbeat.
so excited.
Yep.
Nightwing, Batgirl, Selena Kyle, Black Canary, Damian Wayne, and Batman.
Boom. I mean, father-son bonding of Damian Wayne right there, built in.
Right.
But the competitive nature of Damian Wayne is going
Yes.
to make Bruce want to really learn and
Yes.
study.
And
he's a tactical genius.
And Bruce will get frustrated when things don't go his way.
And he's also trying to impress Black Cat.
Also, you can't wear a cape and play dodgeball.
No.
So he's gonna have to go
Nightwing's-
capeless.
I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
But Nightwing's trying to impress Barbara. He's trying to impress Selena. Damian's
Everybody.
just trying to win.
right.
I mean, this is a hell of a team.
Now here's the thing: is once again, everybody agreed this was just going to be 3 teams on each side. They also thought they were going to have a bye. The Bat Fam, they were sitting pretty.
Thought it was theirs.
But guess what?
Uh-oh.
Guess
Who walks
what?
in?
Guess what happened, Coy?
What do we got?
Another team walked in.
What's the banner say?
The door to the gymnasium swings open,
There it is again.
and holding a banner that simply says "completely annoying"
Yep.
is Team Completely
They
Annoying.
know who they are.
Deadshot, Plastic Man, Mr. Miracle, Booster Gold,
There it is.
Animal Man,
Yep.
and Joker.
Okay, so this team right here. You got Animal Man distracting people, just calling all the
There's
animals.
constantly ferrets on the court.
Pigeons flying in.
They're constantly like blowing whistles. Be like, we need to clear the court.
Just madness. Yaks walking by.
Plastic Man
Just
is
big, small, all over the place.
He's-
Bouncing balls.
well, he's also just spreading himself out and just catching everything inside of his own thing.
Yep.
And then just whoop.
Yep, like a giant volleyball net.
Like he said, he literally turns himself into a giant
Just a
volleyball
monster.
net.
Joker's poisoning everybody.
Mr. Miracle is finding himself out of many tricky situations.
I mean, the man can escape anything.
And Joker is just being
just the worst.
absolutely the worst.
And he sees the Bat family and he's like, well, I'm going to kill at least one of those Robins. So
for
frankly,
the end of the day,
frankly, it's personal.
he's like, one of these dodgeballs has a bomb in it. Yeah.
And you hope for the best. And you just hope for the best.
Yeah. I think Bat Fam cannot pull it together.
Well, I think they play by the rules and no one in the other team does.
Yep.
So-
And I think completely annoying
Takes them out.
takes them out and advances to the semifinals.
The nobility of the Bat family is their undoing.
Over on the Marvel side, it's the semifinals. The lights are dim.
All right.
We need to find out who is going to represent Marvel
Mm-hmm.
in the finals
Mm-hmm. It's
of
getting real.
MVDDB.
Rolls are off the tongue.
Team Skills
Yep.
versus Team Totally Not Fair. Speedball, Bullseye, Spidey, Quicksilver, Hawkeye, and Daredevil line up on one side. Domino, Taskmaster, Longshot, Black Cat, Spot, and Kitty Pride on the other.
Now, I feel like Skills played a great game. They did what they could. But at the end of the day,
So here's the thing is because of the bad luck being put on
Yep.
Team Skills, Daredevil had that head cold that we talked about earlier.
Broke him up. Can't even see.
He's got an inner ear infection.
He's just not sensing anything.
He is all over the place.
Peter doesn't want to go at Black Cat at all.
Of course
he's
not.
Infatuated,
Of
and
course
he's just
not.
like throwing the game.
Taskmaster is mimicking everything Bullseye does,
But
and
he
he can't hit
do it.
himself.
Oh, I like
Right?
that. Yep.
Because it's just this constant back and forth.
Yep.
Spider-Man is doing the best he can. As
doing
you
what
said,
he
it's
can.
tough. Speedball and Quicksilver are running around like crazy, but they're constantly tripping on each other
Because
and
of the bad
things-
luck.
Because of all the bad
And then
luck.
all the good luck from the side they have with Deadshot.
Also, Spot is
bunch of-
constantly like throwing little dots on the ground, and the
they're
speed
just
people are
falling
just
through
running
them,
into each other.
and they're doing laps. They're just falling
Yep.
through.
The
Yep.
amount of times that they've clicked each other's heads, just bashed each other.
It's the scene in when Loki's just falling forever, but look at portals
Yes.
with the speedsters.
Yep.
Eventually they get tired.
And Team Totally Not Fair advances to the finals.
Accurately named, folks. Here we are in the finals. Team Totally Not Fair.
On the other side, back to DC. It's
Yep.
the semifinals. Team
Okay.
Justice versus Team Completely Annoying.
Now this is
Flash, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and Shazam are on one side of the court, and on the other side are Deadshot, Plastic Man, Mr. Miracle, Booster Gold, Animal Man, and Joker.
Now, I think this is a tale as old as time here because before we had the nobility of the Bat family being their, rise and fall. But here, I think it's sheer a numbers game where these players are all very powerful, but I think they rely too much on their strength, and the wiles of the chaotic team is just going to take them out because the wiles of this team, as much as Billy Batson changes size, as much as he's able to do there, eventually he does get poisoned by the Joker. And eventually Harley Quinn is able to take out Wonder Woman. And frankly, I don't know what Cyborg can do to keep up with any of this. So I'm going to give it to the nefarious ones.
I think this is also an instance where the what was I going to call them? The people the showed up, people who just showed up, the outsiders, the wild cards,
And they got a name for him. It was a great name.
are just going to take it.
They're done. I think it literally is a matter of you wear them out. And there's no way that team keeps up.
And the entire time, Justice is just thinking like, why didn't we ask Superman to be here
at any point? Man.
So there you have it, kids. In the finals for, as Jacob put it, end of the world, Marvel versus DC Dodgeball. It's Team Marvel, totally not fair. Team DC, completely annoying. On one side of the court, we've got Domino, Taskmaster, Longshot, Black Cat, Spot, and Kitty Pryde. On the other side, representing Detective Comics, Deadshot, Plastic Man, Mr. Miracle, Booster Gold, Animal Man, and Joker. You decide.
You tell us who wins the battle of DC.
I feel like the guy at the end of those epic rap battles. Like,
You decide.
who won? You decide.
I think that fits this tone, and I think this is a hell of a dodgeball game that was asked 6 players, perhaps 5, and we just brought
I would
you-
watch the shit out of this short film.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Or this feature length. Why don't we do hey, James Gunn,
Hey,
where's
the dodgeball film?
Where is the DC? Where is Batman's Rogues Gallery decide to play a charity softball game movie?
If the X-Men never touch a baseball, I'm out. All right, Kevin Feige, that's mandatory. You make this happen. At least an episode of TV.
I think we absolutely crushed this.
Actually, 4th of July, one of the specials, because they seem to drop on holidays. A Marvel
Right.
special, 4th of July,
Right.
baseball X-Men. Boom.
I mean, that's a fucking no-brainer.
Right there. There it is.
X-Men versus Brotherhood of Mutants.
Oh, incredible. Arbor Day Groot special. All right, that's going to do it, you lovelies. Please, as ever, call in at 818-794-0722. 1, because these things happen, like this game right here, because of your great ideas. 2, frankly, to let us know who won. 3, get on the Discord. It is
Yeah.
free. The Discord is the best way to tell us who you think won this Battle of Titans. The Discord, you head to koicast.com and you can find the Discord link there, and it is absolutely free. Dive in. Join us for crazy conversations like this one. You can also send voice memos to contact@koicast.com. But while you're perusing the internet at koicast.com, check out Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where you can leave a rating at both of those. If you want to leave some words, head on over to Apple Podcasts where you can leave us a review. Check out the merch over at koicast.com. You can also check out the Patreon, wherein you can become a tier where we watch movies you recommend. You can join a spinning wheel of justice in order to become someone that gets sent a shirt, as well as tell us movies to watch and all that jazz. And every single week on the patron-only podcast, we discuss all of the art we have consumed that week, and we are 130 plus strong episodes, and we average about like 7 to 10 things we discuss on each of those. So if that's easy math,
10
times 130 is 1,300 things we've reviewed. So
And it's probably around there because even the episodes where it was more towards the 7,
yeah,
there were episodes early on
There
where
were
we
like
were just like
20.
Yeah, we're doing tons.
because we were like trapped, so we had a lot to watch. So I would say we've reviewed for you, dear patron, 1,300 bits of art, which is just staggering to think
That's
about.
a lot.
That is just overwhelming. Even the hours we've spent talking is a staggering thing to think about. Like 130.
I would prefer not to think about it.
That's fair. That's fair. 130 times half an hour.
If I quit the show and just worked out, I'd be fucking swole.
So swole. So let's say we do 45 minutes times 130. That makes an hour and a half times 2. 130 divided by 2 is 65. 65 times an hour and a half is 65 hours plus half of 65 is 32 and a half. That is approaching 104 hours of just us discussing, seeing things. 104 hours is roughly 5 full days.
Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah. No, you're correct.
That is staggering.
Sorry, I was lagging behind you on the math, and I was like, that doesn't seem like enough. But no, that's exactly what it is.
It's a pretty staggering figure.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So if you want to listen to 105 hours of us talk, frankly, we got a place for you to go. It's the Patreon. That is going to do it for this week. You can find me at Koijandro. You can find him at Jake Lloyd Bacon, where you should wish him a happy motherfucking birthday. Hunt him down, wish him merriment. That's what birthdays are for. Introspection, reflection, and merriment. We'll be back in a couple weeks. There's going to be a little bit of a schedule juggle, but I think we're going to be able to nail this.
I don't think you guys are going to notice it. I think
just in case, I want to let you know.
Yeah, we're going to be juggling. So I am heading out of town this weekend for my birthday, and then the following weekend, Alexandra and I are trekking across the country to go to my cousin Paul, who's like my little brother, his wedding at the end of the month. And since we haven't traveled since before the pandemic, we are just taking a car. We're just making a road trip. So we're just driving across the country. So I will be kind of out of town for a week and some change. And if that would be exactly the time that we would be recording next.
So we're going to make it work, but if there's any hiccups, I just wanted to let you guys know, just in case. I'm sure it'll be fine, but just so you know. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. We'll see you soon.
Hello, Jake Lloyd Bacon here to tell you a little about my podcast, Elaborate. It's not super high concept. It's a talk show in which I sit down with artists, actors, comedians, writers, and more from all walks of life and simply connect. I'm exploring the human condition. I'm trying to figure out why we are, who we are, and how the hell we got here. It's a conversation, it's an interview, it's not therapy, but it is therapeutic. So join me and my guests on Elaborate, available at elaboratepod.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's Dragon Wagon.